Hi everyone, welcome back. We are watching #NoFilter, talking about immigrant experiences and journeys with some of our fabulous millennials. And joining us today as well, we have author and motivational speaker Henry Agassi. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to meet all of you.
So tell us a little bit. You have obviously written a book.
Yes.
Tell me the name of the book.
The name of my book is Stand Up, Stand Out, and Be Confident.
Very cool. I like the very strong punch on the name.
Yes.
What motivated you to write the book?
Well, I wrote the book because when I made my decision to be a motivational speaker, I wanted people to see my story, the things that I've gone through coming here, to see that it's not about where you come from or where you're going. And so I put all my experiences there, and I put some of the things that I've gone through in my journey, like dealing with peer pressure and building self-confidence, put them there just to make sure that people have access to that, especially young people. That's my niche, because I'm talking to youth, going to schools and talking to them. So I want them to have that. And
you wanted them to sort of understand where you're coming from and where they can go if they were ever to find themselves in that place. So it's almost like a nice inspirational piece to pick up if you're going through something similar. You know, if you're a new immigrant, it's a great piece to have. You can kind of get a little bit of an inspiration, right?
Yes.
That's wonderful. We are going to take a quick live tweet. So Cassandra, please tell us what is being said.
Okay, so we got a tweet from Daniel, and it says, do you think immigrating was harder years ago than it is now? So how has it changed over time? Has the government made it easier for people to immigrate to Canada?
Well, Henry, I think that's a good question to ask you.
Well, because I think I was watching a show not long ago, and I think government tried to make it a little, I think it's getting easier. Because, and the reason is because we need to have that easier, we need to make it easier because Canada is dependent on immigrants to grow. And I was also reading about, I went to Statistics Canada, I was reading about immigration stuff, and they say in 20 years, if Canada is to shut its door on immigration, like our population growth to be near zero. And that's not going to help the country grow. Because we need that. So I think it's been easier, they understood that, so they're bringing more people, because I've seen a lot of people coming in more than before.
Do you think, though, the cultural experience, if someone were to immigrate today versus when you immigrated, do you think there's any change? Has it become easier, harder, status quo?
I would say easier.
Okay.
The reason why I would say easier, because now, with social media and media, they've seen a lot of things before coming here. For me, when I got here, when I came in February 2nd, in the middle of winter.
Ice cold.
I feel for you.
I didn't even see, for some reason, I read books, but I didn't think snow was in Canada. So
it's okay, we all get the shock when we read.
So seeing the snow was different. I was like, what is this white stuff here?
You're like, and it's cold.
And then it's cold because my dad has told his friend to come and pick us up, and they came in and they brought a jacket for us, because I was wearing just a long sleeve, and I was wondering, why are you giving me this? Because I thought the weather was like 15 degrees or similar, right?
Yeah.
And so when they gave it to me, I just thought about it, so I just put it on. I came out, it's like I was walking into a freezer. And the next question was like, and then I started asking myself, how do people survive here? And then,
so it's a question a lot of people ask when they reach the airport, especially if they come wrong months to come.
My grandma did that when she came over here. She liked the cold. Even in Nigeria, she had like 3 ACs in her room.
So what's the weather like in Nigeria typically year-round?
Nigeria, since we're like right on the equator, it's actually really, really warm there. So it's really hot, really warm.
What are your average temperatures year-round? Like roughly, you would say you guys are sitting at?
It could be 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's at a good peak.
And like the coldest we ever get is like when it's raining, and that's about it.
Yeah. What do you guys get? Like 5? Never that.
Never goes 15 degrees or
even like,
and people think
it's raining and it's people will be like, oh my God, it's so freezing here.
It can be chilly though, because like in Jamaica when it's hurricane season, well at least in the Caribbean, when it's hurricane season and that temperature drops and it's raining, but then there's also that wind, it seems much colder than it really is.
Right.
But, and I always feel like, oh my gosh, it's so cold here. I'm like, I'm from Canada, what do you mean?
Really?
But
now when you go back, you can't pull that.
I try not to go during rainy season. Like.
You've become that spoiled now. You're like, I'm going only at this time.
Well, I actually like rainy season in Nigeria because it's cool enough. It's not as hot.
It's not that icky hot where you're irritated, right?
Yeah, the kind of hot they have is like they have this thing like Hamatan. Yeah,
it's like
not
all dry.
It's hot and it's
dry heat. Like,
it sucks out all the moisture. You're like always thirsty.
At all. I will say though, as far as one thing I will say, the difference between Canada's heat though and like being in the Caribbean is, to me, there's more moisture in the air out there.
I agree.
You can breathe better.
It's very dry, the air here.
When it's hot here, it's disgusting because it's so dry. You're like,
you guys
I'm
have two extremes. We have two extremes.
Like, you know, in Jamaica, it can be so hot, but it's not as like stifling. I don't know.
Right.
I prefer it.
And I think you made a good point, Henry, that social media has made such a big difference, because let's say tomorrow you were in a place that you were migrating to Canada. All you had to do is go online, do some search. What's Canada like? What's the city I'm going to? What's Toronto like? What are the pockets? You know, what are the people? What is the culture? You have something that you could land in. Even if you're talking to a stranger, you have something to make a conversation about, right? Back in the day when people would come, like when my parents came, it was like their family was here. My dad had visited about 5 to 6 times, but not everybody had the opportunity that my parents did to actually come visit, decide, do we want it, do we like it, right? And even then, when he came, he didn't bring my mom, so when she saw the winter, she was like, I didn't sign up for that. Everything else was great.
But then there was a guy that I met, and he was talking about he immigrated from Nigeria and came here. And then he was complaining about things. I'm like, why are you complaining? He said he saw the stuff that were TV shows, and then he came here. And so he was, he's different. I'm like, so you follow whatever you see on TV and you came here?
So the problem with you is a whole other level. You have another delusionalism issue. Okay. And a lot of people actually that do immigrate, they begin to think American TV is very representative of Canadian content, which it's not, right? A lot of people back home too, when you're like, I saw like the Oscars. I'm like, okay, great. But I don't dress like that all the time, right? So you're going out, are you wearing a gown? I'm like, not like the Oscars, like not to dinner, like down the street, right? So I think there's that a little bit as well, that American TV is so dominated in the global landscape. American media is so strong, right? It's one of the world's most powerful countries. It is. So its power in convincing and influencing and reaching different parts of the world is so high that people almost equate North America as America.
Yeah,
you know?
Because even when I was in Nigeria, I know a lot about America than here.
Yeah.
I didn't even learn much about here. It's when I came that I actually learned.
My experience,
like,
right?
We're going abroad. I was like, we're going to America.
And people always think about America when you say you're going abroad.
Yes. So where are you in America? I'm like, I'm in Canada. And then for the longest time, I was living in Montreal. So when I tell my family, I'm in Canada, whatever, they'd be like, so how's Toronto? And I'm like, I live in Montreal. What's that? Like I'm in this place in Quebec. It's a pretty big city for me, Montreal. I'm like, so you're in Toronto? How close to Toronto? I'm like, you know what? So I used to be like, I live in Toronto. Just make it easy.
Yeah.
And I remember when I came to Toronto, I didn't like it at all. When I moved from Montreal here, I was like, what is this? Too many different people, too much hustle bustle. Oh my God, you guys are all crazies over the place. But so that was.
Yeah,
wherever you move, you'll see that, right? On the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about Henry's journey. Stay tuned, everybody.